Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FCBDU podcast, your backstage pass to the magical world of Fat Chance Belly Dance style. I'm your host, Deanna, and I invite you to join me along with a variety of special guests and experts as we explore the beauty, intricacies, and lifestyle topics of this captivating dance style. Grab a comfortable seat, tune in, and let's embark on a journey through the rhythms, movements, and history that make Fat Chance Belly Dance style an enchanting experience like no other. On this episode, I'm joined by Lenka Adamkova, a seasoned dancer and teacher with 18 years of dedicated practice. Lenka's honed her expertise in the nuances of good posture within the realm of dance. Her journey as a devoted student to Fat Chance Belly Dance and the Salampur School of Belly Dance were emphasized on alignment and posture, and it was integral in her training. Recognizing the paramount importance of proper posture in dance, she collaborated closely with a trusted physiotherapist for more than a decade, gaining valuable insights into body mechanics and injury prevention. Together, they conducted online webinars and live workshops, delving into the fusion of anatomy, health, and their applications specifically tailored for dancers. Lenka's commitment to enhancing dancer well-being led to the creation of the course Rebuild Your Posture, which debuted in her home country, the Czech Republic. It aimed at empowering dancers with fundamental theory and practical techniques for posture refinement. Throughout Lenka's journey, she's actively participated in numerous anatomy workshops, enriching her understanding of the body's intricacies and their relevance to dance. Her inherent ability to swiftly grasp and implement information has enabled her to apply theoretical knowledge effectively to dance practices and helps dozens of dancers to better their posture. Her new masterclass, Rebuilding Your Posture from the Inside Out, releases on FCBDU, and we're excited that she's here today sharing her passion for this topic. Welcome, Lenka. I'm so excited about today's topic.
Me too. Not at all nervous. Not at all.
So today's topic is the importance of posture. And as we know in our style of dance, the first two main things that we focus on when people walk into a dance class is we welcome them with gratitude, which we always focus our first month here on FCBDU, and also posture. Yeah. And so I'm loving this masterclass on posture because this is not for the beginner dancer. It's definitely for a more advanced level dancer. So I'm excited to dive into some of the aspects of posture because there's a whole realm. I mean, people spend their entire careers just on this one topic. So I'm excited to dive into some of these areas today. So for those of you that are joining us live on YouTube, welcome. I'll be checking in with comments and questions throughout the cast. So feel free to drop those in the comments section while we're here.
Yay! So where are we going to start? Posture. It's such a huge topic, and you don't really know where to dig in.
It's true. And posture, we think about it specifically as dancers, but what I really want to do is I want to talk about it in the realm of just life in general, because it's not just for dance. Of course, we know the importance. Well, we will know, right? The importance of posture in everyday life, but also in everything else that we do. I mean, there's posture classes for people that are working behind offices all day. My husband's doing weightlifting and bodybuilding for the past year, and his focus has been on posture. I mean, posture is a huge topic. And I thought we could start a little bit by how did you become interested in the significance of posture? Like, when did you really start realizing, oh, this is something I that's changed for me, or that I really need to dive into?
Yeah, that's really interesting because I've always been a geek into anatomy and how things work. And I really love the technique of the dance from day one. But the moment where I realized there's something more was when I realized that there's not really a posture for dance and a posture for life. Like I noticed that I'm trying to somehow stand differently in the dance, like to do a dance posture. but I was not able to have like a human posture. And that was something that we have to start with first, like to be able to stand correctly, so to say. Even I don't like the word correct with posture, but correctly, well enough as a human being. And only then we can do something extra, a little bit more for dance, like maybe have the chest a little bit more open. But unless you are in alignment as a human first, you cannot really open your chest, because the whole posture that just falls down, everything. So that was like, I'm not sure, maybe 8-7 years that I realized that when I started um, visiting workshops that were more about functional movement rather than just anatomy or dance or whatever. And I was like, oh. And then, then really the things changed inside my body, and things changed for me in dance as well. And I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So for me, I had when I was really getting into my yoga teacher training, which is a little over 10 years ago, I realized that when we were standing in mountain pose or Tadasana, just at the beginning of the practice, I was like, this is dance posture, And so, but then I started thinking, like, every time we were in a pose and the little tiny adjustments that we would do to bring us back into that more neutral posture, no matter where our limbs were, I really started realizing this isn't just a dance posture. This is actually, kind of like correcting what I do outside of, dance or yoga or anything else, so that I can bring my body back into a healthy place, so that then I can move from there, and I'm not moving from a place of, having been hunched over all day or anything like that. So yeah. It was like outside of dance that I realized the importance of the posture for my dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. So, so can we maybe talk a little bit about kind of like the direct effect of posture on overall health? Like when you started focusing on your posture, what were some of the benefits that you found in dance and outside of dance?
Yeah, let me start with dance because that's easier. Yeah, first of all, my training is also in the Salimpur school. So unless you are in alignment, or just belly dance, let's just say belly dance. But with the Salimpur school, the thing is that you train to be able to do a really intricate and very complex layering. So unless you are in alignment, you cannot really layer two things in your pelvis and three more in your rib cage and then arm movement. Like, you cannot. So you have to be in alignment. So that's number one. When you reach your alignment, you can do that. You can practice for that. But then for FCBD style, I don't see the movement in FCBD style as something that we layer, but rather as a movement in like as a whole, because the whole body is is moving. So when you improve your posture, what happens is that suddenly your dance is much more effective, and you don't get tired so easily. You can smile, you have more fun. You have more fun because you're not fighting with your body. And that's, I think, really important, because we go to dance class to enjoy, not to go out and say, oh my god, I'm so tired and my body is just we go to enjoy. We want to have fun. We want to create relationships through dance with other dancers. And if you're fighting with your body inside because you cannot go into proper alignment, what's the fun in that? You're constantly in a battle. So I think that's really, really, really important, because you don't get tired. Of course, the health issue is another thing, because with the arms somewhere out, up and out, and moving constantly, I think the risk of shoulder anything, I don't want to say like injury directly, but maybe discomfort is really high. So being more aware of your posture and how to work with your posture and arms together takes that risk lower. Like it lowers the risk. So I think that's another really great issue. And then, of course, if you are more aware about all of this in your dance class, you naturally take it out to your life. So you notice suddenly that, oh my God, why do I feel today so tired? Or why do I feel so, oh no, that's a rude word to say, too upset or, or frustrated or angry, and you notice, oh my God, I'm in this pose whole day. Oh, okay, that feels better. Oh, I'm a little bit more optimistic now. Okay. Maybe there's a correlation. So
Yeah.
you are able to notice more, and you get to be more sensitive to what's going on in your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then when you hear, and this is outside of dance, but people will say, as far as injury, like I tripped and then I, sprained my ankle, or I was just bending over to reach for something and my back went out. And it's like, it wasn't that one thing that caused it. It's the repetitive of being in this, unhealthy position and putting the strain on the muscles that aren't designed to do what we're doing all day, out, like I said, outside of dance. That's what caused the strain on the low back, or the pull of the muscle in the shoulder or something. It wasn't that one movement, unless you're in an accident or something like that. It's generally the repetitive movements that cause the issues. So in dance, we have a lot of arm movements and a lot of shoulders, and that tends to, for beginners or for new dancers, they're like, oh, my arms, and it's, well, how often are we standing like this with our broad shoulders and our chest lifted and like this openness? Not very often. So when we get into that position, those muscles that hold us there are already they're already weak. They're already not working. We don't have enough range of motion here, or our back muscles are already overstretched and weak because they're used to doing this. So now we're asking ourselves to come into this neutral posture and then move from that place. But the muscles that hold us in that neutral posture aren't used to it, period. So it's like, sometimes it's not about working on the arms or the arm undulations that are going to help your arm undulations feel better in your body. It's really about working on your posture, which is more than just your 3 seconds at the beginning of your dance class, right? That's going to help you feel better physically and emotionally when you're doing these movements.
Yeah, one thing before, I have two things, and one thing a little bit going back, why the injuries happen outside of the class. And that's really like a lot of people exercise, but the injuries happen outside of class. Why? Because they are not paying attention. When we are exercising, we are always with the body. We are with the body, and when constantly somehow checking what's going on, we are aware of the body because we are working with the body. But when you are brushing your teeth, your mind is out already. Your mind is out of your body, thinking about the day, whatever. So you bend over and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is how the problems with the lower back happen. Or you just suddenly twist to get something out of the drawer, and your back goes, oh, bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
So being more aware of your posture and your body and taking that outside of the class to your normal life helps you prevent these injuries, because you are with your body more of the time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I love in your course you give us tools. Like, I think so tomorrow part 1 and part 2 releases, the intro and part 1, and so you give us tools to check in, and you teach us how to check in with your body throughout your day so that you can, create new habits that take you into a positive range of motion, just a positive well-being. And of course, ultimately we get into breath and, breathing better. And we know that that increases our stamina, as well as a ton of other things that are happening on a cellular level in our body. So I really love those concepts. And so I was sharing them with my husband as we were talking before the podcast, as you know, sharing some of those things with him so that he could use them for his posture that he's working on with his weightlifting.
Yeah, it's all about just being aware, and it's not something. It's not like I created some miracle or something brand new. It's very intuitive, and maybe people are already doing it, but just putting a label on it helps you to create this habit. So yeah, I find it very functional and intuitive and easy to implement in life. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So talking about some of the misconceptions. So I like that you talk about this. I know you talk about it more in your course, so we won't get into it too much, but there are some misconceptions about posture. And you mentioned something earlier about being a posture is not just dance posture, it's human posture. So I would love to talk a little bit about that. Like, we've talked a little bit about why people should be interested in posture in general. And I know that for some of you, posture, you're just like, oh, posture is that thing that my mom always told me to stand up straight when I was little, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. But as a dancer, as a mover, as somebody that uses your body as an expressive way, this is the foundation of where that movement comes from. So thank you so much for joining us in our podcast today. So I would love for you, Lenka, to share a little bit about misconceptions about posture, because I think that ties in nicely with why it's not just dance posture.
I was thinking why this even happened, to think that there's something as a dance posture and that's just it, and then you go out of the class and you're like, finally I can release. I don't know, maybe it's because when I was going to school, the gym classes, they were just like, oh, here's a ball and you play or anything. You don't really get to learn about your body. You, as a child, you don't learn about your body. Nobody teaches you to feel your body, like what to feel in your body. And then you have the dance class and you're like, oh wow, finally this is the first person that talks to me about a posture. So maybe that's why we separated so much, a human posture and dance posture. So it gets repeated, posture. You hear about it. Maybe when you realize that posture is not something that is static, that you're like, oh, now I'm stuck in my posture. When you
Right?
when you when you get to the idea that posture is a dynamic process that constantly changes, even when you are sitting, like I cannot really sit without movement. I have to all the time move somehow, swivel on the chair or whatever. So posture is always in movement. Even if you are lying down, you are in movement. Everything moves in your body. So maybe the movement inside can help dancers relax into the study of posture, let's say. And we really have to bring in the element of curiosity. Like, what's going on in my body? Because the huge misconception is that the teacher will tell you what the posture looks like, and you try to fit into this box that you hear about. But you have to find your posture in your body, and that's huge. This is what the whole course is all about. Like, to give yourself time and space. And when I say time, I'm like 10 minutes a day, but for 5-10 years. Sorry, this is the truth. Like, but then maybe the whole life, because your body is your home for the whole life. So why not the whole life? 5-10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
dropped in by seconds. Like, okay, okay, and then you go on to other things as well. Like constantly curious about, and what's going on now? Okay. And now again, computer. Oh, my body. So,
Yeah. And I do that with my breath as well throughout the day, because then it tells me like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Like, what's going on? Why am I feeling anxious? Or why am I sitting like, okay, Deanna, like you need a little bit of energy, or why are you sitting like this? You seem like you're not happy with what you're doing right now. So let's change the pace a little bit. Let's change your attitude a little bit. And my breath can just completely change my attitude. And I think it's really important to mention, like, we're not saying that. So we say that posture is dynamic, right? And there's not just one correct posture for everybody. We're not saying that when we go into our dance class and we go through our posture, okay, feet flat, knees soft, low belly engaged, like spine nice long. We're not saying like that's not the posture, because it is. But
it
what we're
is.
doing, what we're
But like
doing,
the application is
yeah, exactly.
individual.
And what we're doing with that is we're basically trying to bring us all back into, in a very quick, succinct way, into our neutral, what I say is our neutral posture, right? So my neutral posture isn't me walking into dance class, kind of like this, because this is how I've been sitting all day, right? So if I've been sitting like this all day and I walk into dance class and I just all of a sudden, okay, let's do an Egyptian, like that's just not going to work. So I need to bring my body back into what is considered a neutral posture. Like if I took away all the bad habits of my body for the day, where would I be? And then start your movement from there. And as we've been saying, like that is different for everyone, right? Not everybody needs to engage their low abdominal muscles in the same way. And some people not even at all. It depends on where your pelvis is, what your neutral pelvis is. So if we're telling, when we're breaking down our posture in a dance class, we're appealing to about 90, probably 95, 98% of the population in our dance class. But there may be a 2% in there that when they engage their low belly, all of a sudden they're like compressing their lumbar spine and it doesn't feel good and it locks up their shimmies. For them, their neutral posture, their hips might already be in a neutral, they might not have any bad habits to undo, or tight muscles that, or weak muscles that are bringing them into a more posterior or anterior tilt. But for other people, that might not be the case. So yeah, really, really important. And so what I love about this class and why we're calling it an advanced class and a master class is you really take the time to guide everybody in a mindful way about how to find their posture, so that when they're going through the spine and the pelvis and the rib cage and the head and the hands, even, what are they feeling? What are they experiencing? Where are they feeling tension? Where are they finding a little weakness, and how to work with that to find what their posture is, right? And then you give us the tools to continue to check in with that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the level of the course and or like what are the levels, how at each level we can work on posture. I mean, for more beginner, not absolute beginner, but let's say lower intermediate dancers, whatever, the learning how the posture really works, like how it works in the body, that everything is connected in the body. It's not just arm, torso, head. It's like how everything is connected. You might realize why some movements are really difficult for you, because
Yeah.
when we enter the class and we are learning and we are trying to implement and do the movements, sometimes it's just not possible. Let's say the figure eight, that's really difficult for some people. Why? Because maybe something is pulling on the hips or pulling or whatever. And when you learn how to feel what's going on in your body, you might find out why it's so difficult. And then you might go to a body worker and say, okay, this is the movement that I'm trying to do. And I feel tension in my shoulder. What can we do about it? Why is it not happening? And then the body worker will help you work on the shoulder. And then suddenly you're figure eight. Voila,
Yeah.
there's that. So working on posture will help you get this frustration out of the movement and feel that. And so why is this targeted at more advanced dancers is that there's so much going on in the dance class and in FCBD style that it takes a lot of capacity. So you learn movement, you are trying to copy the movement, and you're thinking about the movement, like how to do all of the things that the teacher wants you to do. And it's really difficult to do just anything about the posture because you are trying to do the movement. That's also, let's say, a note for teachers here. If there are any, that why is it so difficult for students to follow your advice about posture? They are so much in their head trying to do the movement, thinking about the movement, like to even have any capacity left for posture. Very little, very
Right.
little. But
Yeah.
when we are advanced, we know the dance inside out, and we can then go back to the basics and refine the basics and the posture, and we can feel deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
apply even the most intricate advice. And then one thing, and you feel how the whole muscle change and fascia change, how they fire and like, oh, this is the game changer.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
I love these moments. Yeah.
And that's actually why, so, each week we recommend a couple of classes also to help people that are just like overwhelmed with, I don't know what to work on. So we've also, along with your part one and part two of your posture, we recommend a yoga for posture class that I taught that basically what you were just saying, like, let's work at the shoulders, let's work at, and you can explore what those first couple of classes are. And then we have a short interval practice for posture. So you can actually literally like take the posture class, feel it in your body, apply it to dance, and just see just what one simple thing. I mean, I think week one is like or part two rather is the spine. Like just seeing what you're being conscious about your spine, all the intricacies that you talk about in your course, and then putting that into your dance practice, the pushing past plateaus, like being able to feel it in your body. And also as teachers realizing like, oh, I mean, there's so many times I've done something and I've thought, oh, I'm going to go contact this student because I bet that this will help them with this, this thing that they had asked me about. And so just exploring that on a different level. I love that. Like taking your posture, really working on it, and then going back to the basics and seeing how things change, how they feel different, I think is a really, really great point. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And the thing is that this class is not something that you do once and you are done with it. It's not like the things that I've put inside. These are the things that I've been exploring for years, years. So it's not something that you do once and like, okay, tick, done. That this is totally, they would be missing the point. So you do it once and you take three things out and you are happy that you have three things that you can apply because the
Yes.
rest you like, aha, aha, aha. But aha moment is not inside your body. Aha moment is still in your head. You have to put it inside the body habit. So yeah. So and
Yeah.
this is why am I saying this? It's not to get you frustrated before we even start, but to invite you to a space of this curiosity and kindness to yourself, that there's
Mhm.
no rush. There's really no rush, because if you rush it, you won't help yourself. So really taking it easy, slow, no pushing, no goals. No goals. It's okay if you I mean, there are 5 parts. We have it for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Q&A at the end. So it's okay if you only are able to do 3 classes. It's okay because you can do the rest after. And you can
Yeah.
then retake the course and retake it. It's okay. It doesn't really matter because you can always apply one thing at a time.
I love what you just said. Do it with kindness. And then you also used the word earlier, curiosity. And I think that's super important. And I love that you're encouraging us, like, don't put a goal to it. Like, I'm going to perfect my posture by March 1st, or whatever. No, like, use this as a way to stay curious and stay kind. Like, you can set goals as far as, like, I'm going to get my zills down by, March, or like there's tons of other goals. But as far as posture goes, you are a living, dynamic, as you said, human being. Your emotions impact your posture. Where you are physically impacts your posture. Your lifestyle impacts your posture. Your age impacts your posture. Like, your posture is going to be something that will change, that you'll have to constantly check in with, I should say, throughout your lifespan. So don't worry about setting goals. Maybe your goal is, to use the body scan tool or something twice a day by putting, a reminder on your phone. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the goal, but not a goal as like, I'm going to, nail this thing, because it's ever moving.
And the thing is that this is really the one thing that I say there. We talk about the difference between the deep muscles and the superficial muscles. And the one really important thing is that posture reacts the deep muscles of that create the posture, let's say, they react to subtlety, to gentle movement, and to kindness. So trying to be hard on yourself and pushing yourself and giving yourself goals would be the total opposite of how you want to perfect or improve your posture. That just would be like, ah!
Yeah, yeah.
No.
In fact, you just inspired me. Let's do a quick exercise, shall we?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Let's go for
let's
it.
do a quick exercise. Um, So do you want to guide us through like a quick little posture body scan, so everybody that's
Oh
listening can
yes,
kind
why
of
not?
tune in?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Also, I don't change the way you sit or stand. Just
Okay.
stay how you are, and let's just close our eyes and just notice the position of your body, the position of your head, your neck, your shoulders, rib cage, and the whole torso. The belly, the lower back, your pelvis, your right leg, and your left leg. How are they different? And then your right arm and your left arm. And even when I go back to your head, the face, notice the tension in your face, eyes, nose, and also specifically the tongue and the jaw. And then just naturally go into something that would make you feel a little bit better. How you want to change position of your body so that you feel a little bit better. And do 1 or 2 conscious inhale and exhale. And with the exhale, do it a little bit longer. And you can also make noise. Like sigh. Yeah, and that's it. It doesn't have to be difficult.
I feel refreshed.
I was like all crooked. And I'm like, oh, this is better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Something
And
really important. Oh,
the breath is just a physiological sigh, and that helps something even when people have when they feel anxious. So this is what we tend to do naturally, and we can help ourselves doing this physiological sigh to calm ourselves.
yeah. Something that I love, two things. Something that I love that you just did about that was you didn't tell us, you know, engage here, elongate here. You just said move into a space that helps you feel better. And that made me like kind of tune in emotionally and like what makes me feel better, not like physically what makes me feel better, but just like what makes me feel better. And just broadening my shoulders was what I needed to just like be more open. And I loved that. Of course, of course, in the course you go through a lot of the anatomy because we're anatomy nerds. But
And we need
just
to dance. We want to
right,
dance.
and we're dancers. But just like checking in, what's going to make me feel better. But also what you just said about sighing, so interesting because I'm also a nerd about pranayama and breathing. And so another course that I just took recently was the physiological, like the scientific aspects of pranayama and the breath. And so scientists are now, I mean, they probably have been for a while, but like studying the aspects of that, the sighing and the exhale. And I do that a lot, but I'm an anxious person. And so my husband now he knows after 25 years to not ask me what's wrong. I'm like, I just needed it. I just needed to. And so now he says, feel better when I do that. And I'm like, yeah, it just, sometimes it's like you hold up all the tension and you just need to, yeah.
And that's why we say that bodies are really wise.
Yes.
It's so funny that all of these Eastern practices, not just yoga, but all of those Eastern practices, and we are like, scientifically, oh my God, it works. Well, yeah, it works. Do you
Right.
need this proof from science?
Right. I know.
They've
I
been here
know.
for thousands of years, and we're like, okay, scientifically, it's proven now. Okay, oh,
It's like we've been doing that for a long time. We already knew it worked, whether you were going to say it or not, kind of a thing. We already know bringing our shoulders back
yeah.
makes us feel better. And now the science that they show about, like why it makes you feel better, which I love, of course, both of those. That's one of the main things
It's
that
the
I
Western mind.
said.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
all the theory.
Merging those together. It's almost like I'm proving, like, okay, I tell everybody this stuff, and then it's like, but here's the proof. If you need the proof of the science behind it and not think that it's just woo-woo stuff, it's there. The science is there.
Stuff. Yeah.
So even in this sighing, the science is there. The science is there. Haha.
The signs there. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So thank you for that postural kind of like that little check-in. So excuse me. So if we have any questions, if those of you that have joined us live, thank you for joining us live. And if you have any questions, it's the benefit of joining us live. Feel free to join in and ask your questions. We're here on our YouTube channel. So I want to talk a little bit about what people can expect from your course. We just touched on it a little bit, but as we kind of wind down, now that we've reiterated the importance of posture, not just in dance, but like in your life. So your course is a 5-part course, and we're calling this a masterclass because a masterclass is where we're doing a multi-part series that's like a deep dive into a specific topic. So we're talking, over the course of these 5 parts, let's say there's like 4.5 hours of content related to posture. And I love that it's broken down in these sections that build on each other so people can go back and check in. And that's why we split it out in these sections. So you can go back in and check in with, what did Lenka say about the spine? And even within that, there's the sections of, what did she say about the stacking, or what were we talking about the bead concept, or what were we talking about? And so there's even the chapters within that. So we have the introduction, which gives a really, really great introduction in the misconceptions of posture. Then we get into the spine. Then we get into the pelvis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we get into the rib cage and the breath. And then the final part is the feet, the head, hands, and arms. Yeah. And I love that because I never really, like, we talk about floreos and stuff in dance, but I never thought about my hand posture and the way that I'm like, I want to tell people and then I don't want to tell people, but like the things that you talk about with the hands and the exercises that you give us are just really, really great. So I really appreciate this course, how it's broken out. And for those of you that are super nerds, like myself, I know, right? Yay for super nerds. There's a workbook. So each section has a section for the workbook. So you can go ahead and you can download that section of the workbook. And then by the time you're done, you have like this full-on workbook so that you can really get in and work on all of these things. And it's not just taking in the knowledge and applying it, but it's like applying it in all of the aspects, physically, mentally, that emotional aspect of posture that we talked about. And if you really want to get nerdy, there's a quiz at the end that we will release in part 5. And I love it.
The quiz is so funny.
I love it. I was like, Lenka, let's have a quiz. And she was like, oh my gosh, here's all the questions. And so once you pass the quiz, you'll get a certificate of completion. So a little bragging
And the
right.
quiz, it is easy, but it is not that easy. So you really have to pay attention. It's not like, it's just a quiz just to get a certificate. No, you really have to think.
Yes. But as long as you've taken the course and gone through everything and you have your workbook, then the quiz is just kind of reiterating the things that you know.
Yeah, and I would encourage the workbook. Like, it's not the most perfect workbook, but I really wanted to give something out because, like, I wanted to stress out the things that I find important. But then I would encourage everybody that take the course and use the workbook to make your own notes, because the head and hand and pen and paper connection is really important. That also helps to integrate the information inside the body. So make your own notes, even if you never ever look at them again. It helps you to remember what you want to remember. So yeah, you use it, make your own notes. And then one thing why I wanted the workbook to give you the workbook is that you don't have to watch the whole video when you need just one information to remember one information. So you just look into this notebook and like, oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Well, and Lenka, and also, everybody is going to be like, we're all taking the same course, right? We're all taking the same course. We're all going to get something completely different out of it. So as we were saying, your posture is unique. Your posture is dynamic. One part of the course may really speak to me, and I might write down things that I'm like, oh, hey, Deanna, you really need to work on this. Or when you're doing your body scan or your freeze, or, any of the tools that Lenka has provided, this is an area that you need to focus on the most for you right now. Right. And so my notes on my workbook may completely be different than what somebody else writes their notes on their workbook, or the exercises that I want to come back to because I really felt them. Maybe I want to do this certain thing in the morning before I get out of bed because I know that that's going to help me throughout my whole day. Or for those of you as teachers, here's something I want to incorporate into my warm-up so that I'm preparing my students even more to feel good in their bodies.
Yeah. So it's to get you started. The workbook is to get you started and encourage you to make notes. Yeah.
Yes.
And then maybe I will mention the structure of the course. Like, this is something that I fight it in myself a little bit, because when we build posture in class, we usually start from the feet up. So it would be really natural to start from the feet up and start with the feet first, then you go knees and pelvis. But then I felt like that would be too theoretical. It would be just too much. And where's the experience? Where's the practical implementation? So that's why we are starting with spine first, because there's something we can directly apply. And also it's something that's it's like bigger parts of the body, bigger segments. The feet are there just really small, and working with the feet as you will experience yourself in the course, it's really intricate. The changes are intricate, and working with the heel around the ball, it's like, whoa, what's that? So using the spine, putting in alignment the pelvis, the rib cage, you already know it, but you will somehow do it a little bit differently, maybe from a different perspective with a different imagery. So for those of you who are already geeks and maybe study anatomy or some I don't know, some approaches to working with the body, you might be like, why are we starting with spinal? Why is this first? It doesn't make sense. Well, this is why, because I really wanted dancers to, from the first part, take something out and be able to put it in the dance. So it definitely makes sense to redo the course several times, because by the time you do it once, you can take the information from the variant of the course and put it together with the first information again, and then you will have a whole another course. You will be like, oh, why this with this? Oh my god, this is amazing. So it's really difficult to create a posture course, because you can approach it from so many different perspectives, and there are so many things that I didn't do because it would be too much. So yeah.
Yeah. No, but I like this approach to it, because those deeper muscles that you're talking about, those, so we also call them mindfulness muscles,
Mm-hmm.
because we were talking before we came on here about like going to the gym, and you're working on those like superficial muscles that like make you look all beautiful, but then like you can't really, then you get injured because you don't really have like the deeper the deeper knowledge of the muscles that are protecting the joints, or that are helping us move or helping us stabilize. And so those mindfulness muscles around the spine can be a little bit easier. Well, it's all challenging, right? But can be a little bit easier to tune into before you get into like the more peripheral parts
Mm-hmm.
of the body, of like the bottoms of your feet or the hands or whatever. So it's like kind of tuning in from your center and then like working your way out
Yeah,
from there. And so I like that
definitely.
approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
It looks like people are excited about workbooks and quizzes. So I love that. We definitely have more of those coming in FCBTU this year too. So
I'm
so I
happy. Like,
love
it,
that.
I have to say, it was a pain in the ass to create the workbook, but it was worth it. I'm happy that you are happy.
So worth it. So worth it. Yeah. So make sure that you're
Yeah. Yeah, I
utilizing it.
felt
And
like it needs to be there.
then of course, for those of you that are members, thank you so much. Member subscribers, thank you so much. This is included in your membership. So for your membership of $25 a month, you have access to this course. And as long as you're a member, you have access to come back and take it over and over again. And then this course is also offered for those of you that are not members. You can purchase this course and have lifetime access to it as well. So you can purchase it individually. And then, of course, you still have access to the workbook and everything. And then something that you mentioned is we're going to have a live Q&A. And I believe that's February 11th. So it's a Sunday, February
Yeah.
11th. And that's going to be within the course. So it's not open for everybody. It's only open for the people that are, in the course. So members, or those of you that are purchased the course. So if you're joining us, listening to our podcast, or taking the course afterward, then you'll already see that recording will be out there for you to kind of review. So we just want to encourage you to take the course, enjoy it. Just like Lenka said, do it with kindness to yourself and curiosity, and also join us for the Q&A, whether you've completed the course or not, because you'll still get something out of it. for sure.
Even just by listening to other people's questions, that. So definitely join us, even if you don't finish. It doesn't matter. Like you do what you can do, and then join us for the Q&A, because this is only one Q&A ever for this course, and then that's it. So take this opportunity.
Yes. So before I close this out, is there anything else that you want to share with us about this course, or about the posture?
No, I think
covered
we've covered everything. Yeah, we
didn't cover everything. Of course, we could sit here for days. But I'm so glad that you were here to join us. I'm really excited about this vlogcast slash podcast series, because we do live interviews. We have done them since the beginning of FCBDU. I think we've even done them before I started FCBDU, but really focusing on bringing in experts in their field. And we have this planned, once a month at least for the rest of the year. And then we'll hopefully continue on as if everybody likes it. So for those of you that are joining us live, or you're just listening to this first episode, tune back in, check out all of our future episodes. We have 2 guests for our next episode, and we'll even be going out and pulling some of the lectures from FCBDU, different sections of them, and putting them into podcast episodes that we feel would be really beneficial for the community to have access to. So yes, and then of course the introduction to our master classes, and Lenka's master class is the first one. It's called Rebuilding Your Posture from the Inside Out. It's going to be available as of January 7th. Part 1 and part 2 will be released, and every week after that we'll be releasing an additional section. So grab that. And if you are a member of our newsletter, then you'll get a reminder that those are being released. Our newsletter is completely free, so feel free to sign up for that. And yeah, so to close out, remember, posture isn't just about how you look. It's about how you feel and how you function. Let's carry this understanding beyond this podcast and out into our lives, embracing the power of good posture, standing tall, and stride confidently into a healthier and more vibrant future. So thank you all so much.
I like that.
A vibrant future. I love that. I was like, let's get creative in closing out this podcast. So I think that it's important, a vibrant future for sure. So, all right.
Thank you so
Lenka.
much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining over here on YouTube. My name's Deanna. I am the host here on our podcast at FCBDU, and tune in for our next episode. I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.